Hello and welcome to episode 1463 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Thursday, January 15th, and I'm messing up the date left and right. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined today by both Joe Orrico and Justin Mason. What's up, guys?
Good to be back. It's been a while since it's been all three of us, but glad to be here, man.
At least you didn't call anybody Lassie. I don't know if you heard the Sunday pod, but I called Owen Lassie twice.
That's amazing. I have not heard the Sunday pod. That's really good. I have not called anyone Lassie, but I do have Shar. She just was climbing. That was part of why I was getting distracted, because she was climbing my leg as I was trying to introduce you guys. But it's good to be with both of you. You know, we could have just redone the intro, but the flub ones I think are more fun.
Yeah,
we're going to talk some first base today. We're going to do the first base preview. We'll see. We're probably not going to get through the whole thing. I suggested that we might, mostly as a joke, let's be honest. We're not going to do that. But we're going to be a little bit lighter on the front end, because I just don't think that Vlad needs like detailed analysis and all that much with Harper or Alonso. We will do a Kurtz deep dive, you gotta, because he's just so unique and interesting. But then the tiers 4 and 5, I think, is really where the meat is, and we'll see where we are on time from there. And we are going off the tiers of the rankings from our group, and Mike Podhorzer does first base, so we're following his tiers. If you got problems with his tiers, go to his comment section and leave a constructive comment. Don't just
don't
roast him.
Don't be a jerk. Yeah,
give a reason why you think player A is better than player B, but absolutely engage with that. And these are living, breathing documents, so it might even be open to a change. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it with Vlad. And he's got like an ADP of a 1920 area, so we'll just kind of keep it simple here. I'll start with you, Justin. Is he someone you'll go for on that 1-2 turn area or in that early second round, knowing what it costs you for steals? Will you take him even if you don't have a steals god from the first round? Is there any world where you would go starter Vlad or two big crushers? Okay,
absolutely. Like if I got a turn type pick, so 15, 14, something like that, and let's say I took a starter. Let's say I took, Crochet. Crochet or Skeens followed me at that spot. I'm probably taking one of them. I can't imagine Scooble's going to make it there.
I'd be surprised.
But yeah, let's just say I get one of those guys, and then on the way back, Vlad's sitting there. I'm definitely going to consider it. The fact that you get almost 700 plate appearances year in and year out with a good batting average and power, I think means a ton.
Yeah. So he is batting average is so valuable, and like you said, the volume of it from Vlad Jr. is massive. So I do think it is a big deal. Go ahead and finish up, Justin.
Yeah, I just think there's so much speed later, though it comes at a deficit for other things. Vlad helps make up for those later deficits, right? So
that is definitely true.
And it's not like Vlad doesn't steal anything. He threw in 6 stolen bases last year.
I'll give you a little trickle. Yeah, I'm gonna feel more comfortable if I did get a first round.
More than 4 or 5, but
if I get a first round steals guy, I'm gonna feel better doing it. But you do have to be mindful if you come out with starter Vlad that, okay, you're behind it a little bit. Joe, I'm going to switch question up on you a little bit. 23 bombs. 2 of the last 3 years, 26 and 23 for a premier guy. I know he brings the average, but he doesn't really bring the power with it. Only one 100 RBI season in the last 4 years, too. No 100 run seasons. Despite all this volume, too. Is Vlad even worth it? Shouldn't he be maybe a little bit lower? Or are we still betting maybe on the come a little bit, because he is about to be age 27, which, of course, is magic.
Yeah, I think that people also will look at what he did in the playoffs and say, well, maybe he unlocked something there. 8 home runs in 18 games. He had a 241 WRC plus in the playoffs. He was a god. He was
unbelievable. God. Absolutely.
And I think people will probably think that, well, he can carry over some of that power now. He's got we just missed the World Series. He's got something to prove now, etc. So I think we could see that number tick up. 23 is the lowest.
Are you talking about Vlad or Gabby Moreno?
Oh, Jesus.
Because I did the exact same thing with Gabby Moreno when he hit 5 playoff homers. I'm just saying, yes, Vlad is better, but be careful taking those playoff samples, because I hear you, and I think people might do that. But I just preach a little bit of caution. That's all I'm saying. Sure.
Even if there's not any growth, I think you can probably say that 23 home runs will be when you're looking back at the end of his career, there's a good chance it's the lowest number that he ever hits. Yes, he does have a ground ball problem. His launch angle is like 7 degrees, 50% ground ball rate. It could be a problem, but even
That's
then,
where you get the average, though, too, right? Like, so there is a give and take.
Yeah, I mean, the worst projected batting average is 292 from the various projection systems. He's a 288 career hitter. It's so valuable to get roughly 25 to 30 home runs with the batting average, with the volume that he provides. And I think a lot of people, there'll be a couple people who've taken the pitchers, but for the most part, you've taken, if you have a turn pick, you've got the Julios, the Tatises, Tucker, Lindor. I think most people will have speed kind of taken care of at that point. My last gladiator from the 6 hole was Bobby Witt and Vlad Jr., 1 and 2. I don't know how I got that lucky.
I like that a lot.
Anything similar to, I don't think most people will be that lucky. But if you're able to get anybody who provides you steals, I think Ellie and Vlad is a really interesting combo.
Yes,
there
I really like that.
Well, so I think he works in a lot of different builds, even if it is 26 or 27 homers, which feels like a floor number to me.
Yeah, I think that is fair, and I do think that there are some constructions where I'm definitely open to still going with Vlad. Go ahead, Justin.
I do think too that like as draft season goes on, we're gonna see Vlad more in that middle of the second round, right? Like
even
as
better.
The pitchers start to rise,
he'll get pushed down. People start poking holes a little bit.
He'll get pushed down, and like you will be able to like have a start where you're like Corbin Carroll and Vlad. Or
that's like
Ellie and Vlad.
That's like a boosted version of the Ellie and Vlad. I think if you can get Carroll. So yeah, if I can do that, if I'm getting a cornerstone steals piece in the first round, then I'm actually seeking Vlad. I would love to get him. Then it's if I end up with I guess there aren't really that many boppers who don't run. I don't know where we're putting Soto's steals because they did get rid of that first base coach. Do they remember, do they still run all the same plans even though he's gone? And Vlad and Soto is actually a steals piece? Or does he go back to maybe a little contribution? And so then maybe you wouldn't have a ton of steals if you went Soto Jr. or like Caminero Jr. would be steals light. So there are some builds out there where you could end up steals light. But I'm eager to see where that price lands because I agree with you that he will move down deeper into the second round. Let's go to Pete. Pete's headed to Baltimore. The Mets decided not to pay him. Baltimore, they moved the fence back in. He's got big boy power anyway. If the wall was there, it would be worse. Like it's just undeniable. But of anybody that could, lessen the damage of it, I think he would be a guy that you could look at to do it. I will say this. Part of it is volume. They didn't have too many guys eclipse. In fact, only 2 guys eclipsed 365 plate appearances. Never mind, that explains all of it. But nobody hit more than 20 homers. Nobody hit more than 17 homers for the Orioles last year. Gunnar and Jackson Holliday at about 650 plate appearances apiece, each hit 17 on the button, and then everyone else just played a small sample. Obviously, we think Alonso will hit more than that. But it's not old Camden, Justin. So what does Alonso do year 1 in Baltimore?
I mean, I think Alonso will just be Alonso year 1 in Baltimore. Like, I just don't see, like, this is, another one of those, like, Chris Davis's, right? When we, not the Baltimore Chris Davis. Let's, I'm talking about the other Chris Davis.
It could turn into the other one, though.
Yeah, when he
we'll
went
see how
from
the end of the contract goes.
No, let's not put that evil on anybody. Like he's got power that plays anywhere. Like when everybody was all upset, when Chris Davis went from Milwaukee to Oakland, everybody was like, "Oh, he's going to lose power." It's like, no, he's not. He's got power that plays in any park, and Alonso has got that power that plays in any park. I don't really have that many concerns. I know a lot of people, including you, Paul, believe in like, first year on a new deal, and maybe there is adjustment period, having not seen a lot of these pitchers in the AL East on a regular basis in the same way that he saw the NL pitchers. But I just think he's going to be fine. Like maybe it is a small dip down, and we're looking at like a 2024 type season where it's, low to mid 30s homers and like a 240-ish batting average. But that's still fine. I find myself going different direction than Alonso in drafts. I feel like if I don't end up with Guerrero or I don't end up with Kurtz, in the second round, I'm probably just passing on first base until a bit later in the draft.
Yeah, I think that's okay, and obviously we'll talk the larger scale first base approach here as we go with Alonso and with the first year on a new deal. I do have some leeriness with guys. You know, they sign these big 5, 6, 7+ year deals for $80 billion. Part of my concern is like how the money will affect them and how they'll change becoming a superstar. Pete's already been a superstar in the hardest place to be a superstar, New York. I'm not actually all that concerned with his first year transition. Yes, there is some learning of the AL, like you said, but he's been in the East already, so I think they play more interleague over his career against the East. I'm actually not terribly concerned about Alonso specifically. I'm more worried about somebody coming into new money, coming into being the man. Pete's been the man. So for me, like, valid concern to bring that up for Pete. I don't think that my main concerns with the big contract really apply for him. I'm actually thinking that he's going to be fine, and I have no problem going for him if the build is right. And that's what it always comes down to with Alonso. Like, do you need all that power, or you know, is that what you're looking to do, is to get your cornerstone power at pick 25, 30? And that's about around where he's going, Joe. How does Alonso fit into those builds as a second, third round pick?
Yeah, I'm totally cool with it. I have him ranked ahead of Kurtz personally, and I wouldn't hesitate to take him in the second round. He's coming off of probably the best offensive season of his career. If you look below the surface anyway, 19% barrel rate, 54 hard hit. Average exit velocity was 93.5. His previous high was 91. So I think offensively, he is so safe. He's a big power guy who still gives you a decent batting average, has good contact rates. The park is interesting as well, because if you just look at last year, Camden Yards had a 108 home run park factor for right-handed hitters. So I don't really worry at all about Pete. You know, the first year of the contract, that I think you guys laid it out well. It's more for guys who have been making nothing, and then they get the massive payday where you got to worry, I think, a little bit more. With Pete, I think that he's still easily a 35 home run, 100 RBI guy. And we talk about the durability of Vlad, and every year Alonso, 162, 154, 160, 152 games. I think he's pretty damn safe.
That's the thing. He's so bankable, and he is the premier power hitter of this generation. He did dip to a 217 in 2023. Like, that's the floor. It could crater. And even then, he still went 46, 118, did Pete Alonso. So it didn't completely ruin you, even though you did have to eat that bad batting average. And that was a downside season. He was up at 272 last year. So that's the high end of it. Probably get something in between there. I like Alonso in Baltimore. Harper's up next. He's just getting older, right? So for me, I wonder, like, is he just a unicorn? He's going to be great all the way through, Justin? Or do you worry about, like, I'd rather be a year early than a year late with somebody like Harper? Like, where are you currently as he's now transitioning into a late 40s, early 50s pick? So the price has come down a little bit. I think that's an adequately fair price for somebody who went 27.75, even went 12 steals last year, back up to double digits after a dip down. 261 average, 72 runs in 132 games. Are you good with Harper? He's only 33. I thought he was actually a little bit older. Any concerns as we're moving into his mid-30s?
No, I mean, he was just really young when he came up.
Yeah, so, such a baby. I mean, he was 19.
Like, yeah, so, like, he's only 33. I think you just have to be smart about where you project the plate appearances, right?
Yes.
Only once since 2019 has Harper gotten over 600, and that was in 2024. So you've got to kind of project like a 575 to 600 plate appearances, because he's really not going to go over that. But other than that, like, he's just aging like a fine wine. The skills are fine. Still hits the ball hard. It's a great park. It's a great team. I think there has been a little bit of talk. Maybe they could even move him back out into the outfield, though I don't know that actually happens.
We take that as fantasy folks.
Yeah, we take it as fantasy. I just don't know, like, from a team construct perspective, like, how they pull that off,
right?
Considering, like, the other moves and things that they've made. But, you know, they've been linked to Bo Bichette, which would create just kind of a little bit of a logjam until they move, like, an Alec Boehm or a Bryson Stott.
I guess I mean, right now, this is, you know, roster resource, like, they got Casty on the bench in a short side.
Well, I think Castellanos is getting traded at some point.
So if he's getting moved out, and you talk about Harper maybe dipping back to the outfield, he could go to left and then Marsh in center.
Well, I think
that's
they
one
want to give Justin
machination.
Crawford.
I see that. I see him here, but like
Aiden Miller too. Aiden Miller's coming up too.
Yeah,
and I don't think either of them are like taking the job day one unencumbered. Though I'm just saying that's how he gets back in the outfield.
I think that once they figure out the Bichette, part of this, whether that's going to be there, then they're going to be moving like probably 2 guys off, or maybe even more off of this roster, right? So
no doubt.
A trade of Castellanos, a trade of Alec Bohm, maybe a trade of Bryson Stott or something like that.
Or a package that includes 2 of them, They'll have some moves to make if they get Bichette, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Harper keeps aging like a fine wine, like you said. And, he has upside via playing time. If he spikes another $150, the extra volume is where you get your upside from. You don't project on it, but if it comes through, then all of a sudden he's even better than you thought, taking him at pick 50 there with Bryce Harper. Let's move to Nick Kurtz. And again, the most electric rookie season we've seen in quite some time, if not ever. Arguably the single greatest game ever. And I am quick to always say, we're overrating the moment and like, this is the best ever, everything. This is one case that is not true. I truly believe that Kurtz's 4-homer game with the 6 hits is really in contention for the best single game ever. It was absolutely amazing. However, he's a rookie. A lot of swing and miss in this game. Took a while to get going. Still struck out 31% of the time. Joe, you mentioned that you actually had Alonso above him. The market sternly disagrees with you. 18 versus 26. I don't really think you're out of pocket. But what are we doing with Kurtz here? Pick 18 off of that rookie year. How are you approaching him?
I'm honestly pretty much at a full fade, and my rankings don't necessarily reflect that. He's my 3rd ranked first baseman. I might, I could maybe move him down 1 or 2 spots, but I'm just really worried about investing a first or even a 2nd round pick off of 400 at bats in the major leagues, as good as they were. You got a 31% strikeout rate, and I don't think he's going to hit 290 again based on the 364 BABIP. I think he's like a 250 hitter. I'm a little bit concerned about the contact rates. It was a 76% zone contact. He doesn't chase a ton, but 14% swinging strike rate with the contact rates he has. I think that he's pretty safe from a power perspective. Like, I think you're probably going to get 30 home runs from him. But if he hits 250 and you're taking him at pick 18 or 19 or maybe even inside of the first round, his minimum pick is well inside of the first round, I don't really see a lot of value there. I know that I have the potential to have egg on my face, but there are so many safe players going around Nick Kurtz, or players that I perceive to be pretty safe. I just don't want to take the chance here. I don't want to.
I'm not even sure that it's really egg on your face if you're wrong, though, right? Isn't this a classic process versus results? Like, sure, nobody is denying that Nick Kurtz could just add, 30 more games of what he did and just be that guy. Oh my God, he's a god. Instantly, here we go. That is a very low outcome potential. So, that's like, folding because you didn't want to see your gut shot and then it hits. Well, yeah, technically you were wrong. You would have won the poker hand, but you made the right play. That's how I would see something like this, because this has just way too much downside. It really shows you that when someone strikes out this much, they need a 364 BABIP to only hit 290. Normally, if you're clipping a 364 BABIP, you're hitting well over 300. But when you strike out that much, you really need it. So, yeah, I'm really nervous here, too. I can't pay the freight. And I've been open to paying for the shiny new toy. I'm not just, universally against that. I just think with Kurtz, there's too much risk here. Justin, I want to bring you in on this. Pick 18 for Kurtz. Are we crazy here? Are you jumping in because you were off on Ellie and O'Neill as they were moving up? It's a little bit different profile, but also has that swing and miss that worried us so much about those guys. How are you treating Kurtz?
I mean, it's also different because I was in on Kurtz when he came up from the minors, in midseason. So, part of me wants to be like, no, this is my dude, but I think Joe's right. And
I respect you for staying intellectually consistent then, because just because you were in and hit the winner, you don't change your procedure there. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's completely about the price and nothing else. It's just the price is too high. I'm sorry, but how much different is his profile than Matt Olson's? A guy that can hit 50.
Not.
But I don't know where the batting average is going to be, and I do think that 250 is probably the spot where I would project. And
I say this, just to interrupt you real quick. I say this as somebody who's been giving them a little gas the last couple of years, but the Athletics lineup isn't exactly screaming 100 on the runs ribbies either. I think they could take a step forward.
Think he definitely could be like a 100 kind of
but
guy.
Can he get 100 ribbies leading off?
Oh, probably not. But
and so then what are you looking at?
He shouldn't lead off. I don't know why.
Well, that's what we have. Is that, did he lead off or do we?
No, he
are
did
we just
lead off
doing
last
that?
year. He did lead off with the on base rate. I don't know.
I mean, he mostly hit second.
Yeah, I'm not traditional in lineup construction. I actually kind of love it. He mostly hit third. That was where the most of his plate appearances came.
I was looking at Matt Olson.
but he did get 80 plate appearances at first.
Yeah.
64 second, 130 third, and 63 fourth. That's the top 4 spots for Kurtz. So he could be anywhere in there. But where do you think his runs and ribbies are going to be? I mean, without knowing his lineup spot, can he be a 100? Like, is that an easy bet for you? Is that a stretch for you? I guess
probably more like 90, 105, something like that. Like, I think it's going to be good.
Okay.
Right? Like,
that's good.
I think, like, if you add the runs and the RBIs together, you're going to be pretty close to 200 and maybe over. And I also think that, like, 35 to 50 home runs is in the card in Sacramento, especially, right? Like, that park is just built for him to hit a bunch of power. I think it's more a matter of, like, hey, like, every guy you're taking at 18 is a stud.
Yeah.
And, like, so, like, for me, it is about the floor, and I think there is a world in which we see him, maybe hits 35 home runs, but maybe the A's do suck around him, and he has 72 runs scored and 84 RBIs, and he hits 230, and it's like, okay, I could have gotten that later. And I think there's the upside of guys like Alonso, of guys like Matt Olson, of guys like Rafael Devers, who are going 30, 40 picks later. Like, you can get Freddie Freeman, who's a perennial first-round pick, at pick 72.
This is just
like
pure classic case of the shins, the shiny new toy syndrome. That's all. It does not make sense to take him that high, right? No. Like, I'm sorry. It doesn't. I don't know.
This is where we were taking Matt Olson after he hit 50 home runs. Like, and it was
had 4 other years of juice behind him.
And was playing on the Braves with Acuna, prime Acuna, prime Albies, like
6 years. Excuse me. He had a career behind him.
So for me, like, I just can't see taking him here at all. Like, I want to, like there's part of me, it's like I want to say, like, oh, well, there's going to be one team of mine with Kurtz on it. I just don't see it happening.
It's not fun to be the wet blanket on players like this. I totally get it. But
fantastic player. If I do have him in a dynasty league, right? And if I got him in dynasty or keepers leagues, I'm stoked. But, like, from a redraft perspective, I'm probably not drafting him.
It's just the price. Like, you opened with it. It's just the price. I love the player. Give me a round discount and I can get there. But
maybe as pitchers start to
maybe he starts to move down. Maybe
he starts to move. I just don't see him falling out of the second round. But, like, you never know.
Right. That would be the only way I could get in. I mean, 25 is his max. That's into the third. Or no, that's still in the second. Sorry. That's just right there in the mid-second. So probably not. By the way, I'm looking at draft champions since the first, which is 17. Oh, wait, sorry. That's all the drafts. Now it's draft champions. There's 7 of them, and he's at pick 20, still with a max of 25 for Nick Kurtz. All right, let's move on to the aforementioned Matt Olson, because now this tier, he put the Crusties in there. Podhorzer put the 2 Crusties, Olson and Freeman, in there. And now Olson is a couple years removed from 54 homers. Remember, 54, 139. That was excellent. It came off of a 34, 103 and a 39, 111. So while you're right, Justin, that we probably shouldn't have moved him all the way up to that second round area, there's a lot more juice behind it to, like, make that feel like, okay, this guy is coming to his own and he's a top player. He'll come down from this, but maybe he comes down into the 40s. Well, instead he came back with back-to-back 29 homer seasons. However, Matt Olson also has 4 straight 162-game seasons. He posts, and I know that neither 24 nor 25 really went his way, and he did have to kind of blunt force volume his way to the quality seasons. But I'm not going to turn my nose up at 29.95, 272, especially after the bounce back from the 247 average of 2024. You already said that this is, you could get a good Olson line from Kurtz, and why not just take Olson later? So I imagine that he could be in your plans for first base. Is that right, Justin? He goes around pick 50, 55 in that range.
He could be depending on where he falls. I'm just always getting something else here. Like,
okay.
I just don't see myself ever pulling the trigger, but like in a draft where he falls, as these pitchers start to rise, like there probably will be a time in which I go, oh, Matt Olson makes some sense here for my team. You know, maybe I started off a little bit speed heavy or something like that.
Yeah, get that power pickup.
You know, and I need that power pickup. But again, the first base is so deep. Like it's really hard to want to like spend one of these top picks on a guy who, like, yeah, can I get a Tyler Soderstrom at 99? Can I get a Michael Busch at 105? A Christian Walker on a bounce back at 188? A Wilson Contreras at 188? I'm probably, again, like I said, if I don't end up with Vlad at the top, I am probably waiting quite a while to fill first base.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. By the way, I said old and crusty. He's another guy, not old. He's only 32. I'm sorry. He's been around for a long time, and I just associated him.
Yet. He will be
right, age 32 season. Yeah. I'm just saying what their season is going to be. Don't be technical Tommying me on that bullshit. It'll be age 36 season for Freeman. He is an old and crusty. But yeah, like with Olson, I think I'm probably with you that I don't know that that's going to be an area of the draft where I'm getting first base. But I don't really have any problem with him or that particular price point. I just don't think I'm going to get Olson or Harper because I might be looking for a pitcher at that point. I might have a couple hitters already on the board, and I might be needing an ace reliever, and I might be taking like a Josh Hader, or maybe I'm getting an ace starter like a Cole Reagans or something like that. So I don't know that he'll make my plan. Where do you come out with Olson, Joe?
I think Justin laid it out perfectly. I really like him. There's nothing really in the profile that would have me staying away from him. I think the Braves are really due for a bounce back this year, but
is the power going to go back up? Sorry to interrupt you. Is the power going to go back up? Back-to-back 29s. Are we getting back into the 30s with Olson after the 54? Or is that just I'm not saying back to 54, but can we get back in the 30s?
Yeah, I mean, he had 36 in Oakland in 2019 I probably shouldn't even look at, but 2021 he had 39 in Oakland. I think he can do it. But if he's in the 28 to 32 type of range there, I think that's probably what you should expect. But he just doesn't jump out at me when I'm in drafts. I've done 4 drafts to this point, which is less than I would have typically done.
Those are the players you should take, though. The boring,
that's true.
Steady players. And I'm with you, though. True. I like drafting exciting stuff, too. But
I'm not even for, like, jumping up the rookies and stuff.
Sure.
When I look at the range and I could lock down like a Logan Webb, a Reagans, I could go Ben Rice and get my catcher taken care of, Wyatt Langford. Like, there's a lot of guys I really like in that range. There's nothing against Olson, but we're going to talk about a first baseman pretty soon that's going a little bit later that I would not much rather have, but given the price difference, I think makes a lot more sense than Olson. So I like him, but I don't think I'll be taking him too much this year.
Since I foolishly aged up Harper to a level that he's not actually at, let's take that question that I had with him, Justin, and apply it to Freddie Freeman, because he actually is older going into his age 36 season with some injury issues, that he's battled through, and he's still played. I mean, he's still posting 638, 627 the last 2 years. So we can't even say that like it's super affected him. But is this a year early versus a year late thing? The principle being Freeman might still be good, but I don't want to potentially catch the bomb, so I'd rather pass and lose on him than grab him and have this potentially be the fall-off year at age 36. How do you deal with Freeman and that potential as he gets older?
I mean, Freddie Freeman, I just feel like is one of these guys that you can count on. I will say there are some underlying skills concerns that I go, okay, maybe, like he still hits the ball hard. Max EV 114 was almost the best of his career. Average exit velocity at 91 miles per hour was right up there with, some of the best he's done in recent years. 54% hard hit rate is great. The zone contact dropped considerably. It went from 86% down to 81%. So that's above league average to well below league average. His O swing, he swung outside of the zone 3% more from 26 to 29%. So like the swing strike rate was the highest of his career since 2016, and the second highest total in his career. So like there are some things where it's like, oh, okay, how much of this was like injury? How much of it was actually, him starting to, age starting to catch up with him. I do think he's one of these guys that will just continue to age gracefully. So like, I don't think he's not going to fall off the cliff.
That's the thing. His skills are so strong over the years that it's really hard.
He's hitting like high up in the best lineup in baseball.
Yep.
And so like, I don't have a problem with him going here. I actually think this is an insane discount considering where we've been getting Freddie Freeman.
And you get a piece of the Dodgers lineup too. And so what I said about Olson, where he doesn't jump out to you, don't get the warm and fuzzies getting him. Pick 73 for Freddie Freeman. That's the boring pick, guys. I know one of the ones we reference a lot for this is Dave Potts. I feel like he's going to be eating this up. Now, just because it's an older player doesn't mean he automatically likes him. And Dave might have reasons that, I'm not so in on him. But this feels like somebody that he's going to take that discount and go all the way.
I just think, you think you're going to get, like, maybe the batting average isn't as great. Maybe it is like a 280 or a 270 something. But I still think you're going to get those, 25 home runs and, 5 to 10 stolen bases. And
the county categories as a Dodger.
Yeah, like as a Dodger. Like, I think he is just like such a good accumulator.
Yes.
And that's not something you get at the position. Usually you're getting somebody who is really good at one thing, often power, and not really good at anything else, unless they're a stud. So like, I think like Freddie Freeman is like a perfect accumulator. I have no problem with where he's going. He'll definitely be on a few of my teams this year.
Love it. All right, let's move on from Freeman to another guy that we definitely got to talk about who's had a crazy season. And, with Kurtz having a crazy season, it was like, okay, people could envision that. Justin, you were in on him early. You could see a big rookie season happening there. You're not going to find me anybody that could tell you before the season that Josh Naylor was going to swipe 30 bags. Even if they had some, hey, he gets his 6 to 8 bags. He spiked 10 in 2023. I have him down for 12 this year. Maybe somebody went out on a limb like that. Nobody had him going 30 for 32. What an insane season. Still had 20 homers too. Couldn't match the 31 from the year before, but when you're getting 30 bags from your slow-ass first baseman and a 295 average, who cares what the power's at? I'll take 20. He went 19 for 19 with Seattle. They let him run wild. 11 for 13 with Arizona. Joe, I'll start with you for Josh Naylor. Going to be 28. What does he do for a follow-up here? First off, where are you putting the steals? What kind of projection are you expecting from him?
I'd say like 12, something like that.
You're going to come all the way back down?
Yeah, I think I will. Does that sound about right to you guys? 12, 13?
I think that's totally fair.
I think you got to go. And he's still 19 after getting traded. Like, I
know.
You don't think teams are going to adjust to that some way, though, and realize that we can't let this slow-ass guy just smoke us?
Such a weird freaking profile, too, though.
Like, you don't need speed. We say that all the time, and I will reiterate that here. You don't need speed to be successful stealing.
But he's also not like a walk guy. Like, he had a 5% walk rate after he got traded to Seattle. So, like, he did almost all of those stolen bases off of
hits. Yes.
Because he's not stealing third from second. I do think it is such a weird thing. So maybe 12 is right.
I think that's a good number.
I'm probably like closer to 16 or 17, something like that. But in the end of the day, like,
doesn't it make more sense if you're somebody who fills out a sheet with projections as you're going to just do 12?
Yeah,
and if he gets to 16, 17, get your extra, get the 5 extra in draft. And if you get more, it's gravy from Naylor.
I just don't know that I want him on a fantasy team because, like, I know that batting average is coming back down.
Okay.
Like 295 is insane for a guy who's like a career 269 hitter.
He hit 308 in 2023.
I don't think it is insane. I disagree. 269 career hitters hit 295 all the time. That's nothing. That's nothing.
Dude has no. I mean,
Now,
he's
if
a
you-
good pure hitter. Like he's a really good.
I'm okay with you not believing it because he is slow and you don't get extra hits from that. He only ran a 315 BABIP. He's a 289 career. I understand it's an uphill climb to get back to 295. I just don't think it's outrageous for Naylor to have done it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair.
Here's your alternate then. If the average comes down, do you think the power could go back up to something we saw in 2024?
Well, I don't think it's going to come back up to 2024 because like he really benefited from that wind tunnel in Cleveland. Like
big homer to fly ball run, 19% for him. That's huge. 10% is average, folks.
I think he's like a 22, 23 homer guy. I think he's probably maybe 12 to 15 stolen bases, 270, maybe 280 hitter.
That's really
fine.
good.
Like that's totally fun, but like I don't know. Like
Isn't that a really good line from a first baseman at pick 70? That's pretty sharp.
It is.
I mean, he is pick 70 too. So I want to bring that up too with the ADP on Naylor because the market is saying we like him.
Again, I just tend to pass on him. And maybe that's a mistake, especially because you are getting 5 category production from a first baseman.
That's the part where I'm like, I think I could get there. He and Naylor and Freeman, similar ADP, 71, 73. Joe, who you picking? Team construction be damned. So you can't say you're taking Naylor for steals and Freeman for something else.
I mean, I think that it's really close. I have Freeman ranked 8th and Naylor ranked 9th.
Okay, so you are a coin flip there.
I think it's really close, but I think you have to go Freeman because of the Dodgers and nothing else.
I'm fair with that. I'm cool with that. I mean,
he is batting second or third in the Dodgers lineup every single day. And like as much as I like Seattle, and I'm probably going to pick Seattle to win that division, you look at that lineup, and they're like, when are they going to do something?
Right.
Like it falls off after Naylor. You're talking,
and they lost Polanco too, right? Didn't someone pay him to be their first baseman? The Mets or some shit?
Yeah, the Mets. Yeah, the Mets. Like the bottom half of the lineup in Seattle is Dominic Canzone, Victor Robles, J.P. Crawford. Someone named Ben Williamson and Cole Young.
I know those players. They're real players, but
I know
I
they
understand.
are real players too, but like even the bench is like Luke Raley, Leo
and there's nobody to get. There's nobody off the free agent wire.
They're willing to spend.
Who can you get for third base?
Suarez.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess bring Suarez back. Yeah. Okay.
You go get Suarez, like you say, sorry, Victor Robles, but we're bringing in Kyle Tucker. Like,
now that would be a move. That would be a move. And obviously Bichette's out there too. I just don't think that they're going to go for
I don't think they're going to get Bichette or Tucker. I think they bring back Suarez.
I'll tell you this though. It's Bichette, Suarez, or nothing. The next projected war is Miguel Andujar and Luis Rengifo.
And the problem is, one of the big third base trade targets is Isaac Paredes, and Houston ain't trading him.
Exactly. No, I think they might trade him with Boston, but I don't think they're going to do.
I think it's more a matter of like, hey, could they get Brendan Donovan or Nico Horner?
That would be interesting. If they can do something like that.
I haven't even heard them tied to them.
No, Donovan. It's funny you said that though, because a Seattle friend of mine was talking him up today. He's like, I'd love if we went after him. So at least that doesn't mean anything. So that's a fan, but it's in the air that could be a fit, and they are shopping him. So I wonder if, Trader Joe's always working something. So we'll see if he's working that. This guy's unsigned, so we'll probably be a little tepid on where we're at with Cody Bellinger right now. But apparently he and the Yankees are far apart. Justin, can you even think of other fits right now? I'm trying to think of who needs. Well, because for Cody Bellinger, because it's outfield first base. So I mean, it kind of opens things up a bit.
Considering what they want from a contract, I feel like it's go back to the Dodgers, go back to the Yankees,
or go home.
Go to the Mets.
He could be a fallback in Toronto.
Or San Francisco.
Yeah, he just goes to the Mets, right? Because again, I just said they've got Jorge Polanco to be their first baseman and Vientos.
Well, and he could play center.
Oh, right. Right.
So I think.
Oh yeah, he fits there.
Bellinger is just waiting for the Kyle Tucker domino to fall.
That's a good point too.
And then he will have the market to himself.
Yep.
But someone's going to have to. I mean, he wants 7 years and like $30+ million per year. So like
7 years is bonkers, dude, for Cody Bellinger. I love Bellinger, but
I love Bellinger too. I love Bellinger in San Francisco, but I don't want to give him 7 years.
7? Oh, he's going to be 30 this year, so it's, age 30 season. But he's 7 years though.
Not been a stable of health.
That's what I'm saying.
I just don't know how you do it.
Even in this rebirth, because he cratered and then came all the way back. 130, and then 152 this year. He picked the right year to drop a 152, but people aren't going to be pretending that he's going to do that for 7 years.
Team that comes out, I think those 6 teams, right? The Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Giants, the Blue Jays.
Well, what about these Mariners?
Well, they'd be a surprise team. They have not.
They would be the surprise team. Yes.
I've just not seen them
pop him in with Randy and J-Rod. Now you're talking.
I mean, I would love it, but they have not been a team that has said they want to spend more money.
Right,
and a lot more money.
Frustrating because they need more. You read that lineup off. That's not enough. Yeah. That's not enough. All right, let's get to your Giants then. Let's talk Devers. Again, we'll revisit Bellinger when he signs because we'll just have more concrete information. So let's go into Devers, who's now going to have his first full year with your Giants, Justin. So we'll start with you. Obviously, that's your favorite team. We always know lefties are a concern out there. That's the first thing we think of. Is it good enough to still draft Devers at pick 68? Is that too high of a price point for you? Or do you think he's fine out there for a full year?
I go back and forth on this. Part of me is like, hey, he's got the power that plays anywhere. So I shouldn't be overly worried about him hitting in San Francisco. You look at the underlying power metrics, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. I think the power will play there. I think for me the biggest issue is it's the opposite of what I said about Freddie Freeman, which is Freddie Freeman is going to age gracefully. Rafael Devers is going to fall off a cliff at some point.
It feels that way, right? Now, if I could give a counter, one counter before you get into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The 15% walk rate last year.
That's great.
So could that be, if that's real, it was 11% the year before. He has stair-stepped it up the last few years. 8, 10, 11, 15. Could that make you feel better about the potential cratering?
I mean, in some ways, yes. But when we're talking about guys who have bad zone contacts, Rafael Devers has the worst zone contact in baseball.
And you're saying that's bad?
And it's not close.
Okay.
It is 3% lower than Jazz Chisholm.
And I'm still understanding you that you don't want this.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Now he has the fast hands and athletic ability to make it work, and he has his entire career, right? He has never been a strong zone contact guy. In fact, since 2020, Rafael Devers has had a zone contact under 80%, which is that threshold of whether I ask if you're a major league.
Should you even be in the league? Yep.
These are contact skills that are similar to Javi Baez, right? The big difference being Javi Baez has zero plate discipline, right? Zero understanding the strike zone.
And elite defensive value that counters some of his offensive struggles.
Right. But he doesn't know where the strike zone is. Whereas Rafael Devers can take walks. He knows how to, work the count. He knows when to swing and when not to swing. He just doesn't make a crap ton of contact when it's in the zone and he swings. So I do think that there is a world in which Rafael Devers hits 220. I'm not projecting that. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I don't know that this ADP puts that into perspective.
Yeah, because again, it's what did I say, 68, and that is
and the Giants
that's
aren't great around him. They're not bad, but they're not great around. It's not like he's in Boston.
And no 3B. There is no more third base eligibility for Rafael Devers, folks.
Again, this is another guy that I'm just gonna pass up. I did take him in a Gladiator, I think, because he fell in a draft, but I think for the most part, unless he falls sharply in a draft, I'm just not going to be taking Rafael Devers.
Joe, does Rafael Devers fit your plan at all ever? I mean, I know I'm saying ever, that broad, but is he somebody that you see?
Rafael Devers guy.
Are you a Rafael Devers guy?
I am the Rafael Devers guy.
Let's hear it.
I have him ranked 4th among all first basemen. I have him ahead of Harper. I have him ahead of Olson.
I should have started with you. I went with the homer angle instead of the plant your flag angle here.
And here's the thing, right? I didn't expect to be a Devers guy. Nobody expects to be a Devers guy, I guess. But
That's not true. Red Sox fans were for years.
they were for years. An interesting thing I think to think about is if he does make his way to Cooperstown, which hat would he wear? Which is maybe a conversation for another day. But
I think if he makes it, it would be because he has an excellent run with the Giants. And I think I would predict that he would almost have to go in with them just because he'd have to have such a good career with them to even get there.
He's got 30 WAR through age 28. When I look at what he's done, you mentioned the walk rate jumping up the way it has. He had 35 home runs this past season. He had the best ever barrel and hard hit rates of his career, highest ever average exit velocity. There's a lot to like. The zone contact thing is definitely worth noting, but also guys in the bottom 10 of zone contact include Ohtani, Schwarber, Aaron Judge. So it's not necessarily
a served, Justin.
No, I'm just saying it's not.
I'm kidding.
The fact that he can't hit in the zone, like that is a concern.
It's
but
true.
I don't think
like you want to point those guys out, but those are also guys who are like just elite talents, right? They're just elite hitters.
I would say Devers is a pretty elite talent.
That would be my argument, that Devers is an elite hitter. And I looked at his stats at Oracle Park last year. It was 48 games. It was 11 homers. He did hit 234 at Oracle Park, but he had an 825 OPS. 134 WRC plus. So I think his price is really good. His price, the most recent DC that I did, he fell to pick 80, and I was pick 81. I would have definitely taken him there. If you're getting him
before you,
I would have happily taken him. If you're getting him in the 4th, especially in the 5th round, for me, I love it personally. But I think I'm in the minority on this group.
No, I'm not as out on him as maybe Justin is. I think I'm in between you. Obviously, you're the high man for sure. That average you read off is a little bit scary, and I think that would be where my concern is. And I would just make sure to draft around it though, because if I do need power there, I don't think I'm going to completely shirk away from taking a Devers, and then again just hope that my average is stabilized to where I can take the potential hit from him, because I think there's average. Like, he could be a decent average guy, Devers could, if things work, but there is that downside that we saw in his San Francisco sample. Justin, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I just think you're getting a guy who's like 30 homers, 80-80, and I don't know what the batting average is going to be. Like,
That's fair.
I think there's a world in which he, hits, 270, 275, like we've seen him, hit for the majority of his career. And I think there's a world where he hits 220, 230. So like for me, this is very much like a Timu Olson in some ways, or not even Timu. Like Diet Olson. So
yeah, Diet Olson's fine.
Which is fine, but I just think you can get this later. Like, how much different is he than maybe I don't know, a Torkelson? Like
way different. I mean, okay, wait.
The price, when you throw in the price difference, I don't think it is like it. Just I would
way different in something that I feel like you usually value though, which is the certainty of their projection coming true. Now you do have to weigh that price point, and it's 207. What's that?
I'm a believer in Torkelson, but like,
so am I. But
okay,
like,
let me say Wilson Contreras. Like, is it that much different than Wilson Contreras? Like, you're getting 100 pick discount.
I do think that there is a Wilson Contreras no longer being catcher discount that needs to be, I shouldn't say needs to be accounted for. I want to just snap it up. I should shut my yap about it, but
it's hard.
I can get behind that.
Like, there's just so many guys who are going like outside the top 150 at this position where I go, I'll just wait. Like, I'll just wait for Torkelson. I'll wait for Christian Walker. I'll wait for Wilson Contreras. I'll wait for, I
think the pivot is
Andrew
his
Vaughn.
average. It's that average with Devers. If the 236 is real.
That's my concern.
I get it.
He had a 29% strikeout rate after he got traded. Like, I want to.
That was a really bad start, though, wasn't it? Didn't it clean up? Down the stretch, or maybe he was still striking out that much, but I know he started horribly, right? Because everyone was cooking him for it.
He hit 248 in the second half. So if you cut off the first part and you just look at the second half, and the strikeout rate was 29%, 28.7%.
That's a lot
in the second half. So I think the strikeouts are going to be there. I think the batting average is going to be in that 240 to 260 range. Okay,
if that's where you have him, then I understand everything that you said. I still leave a lot more space open for Devers to get back to his 270s.
If he hit 290 this year, I'm not going to be surprised. Like, I just think this is a really wide range of outcomes that you're banking on a guy at pick 70 or pick 80.
And that part is fair. I think that part is fair because of where the average is going to land. And I do keep looking at that San Francisco sample, and I'm like, don't make too much of it, Paul. But at the same time, it also makes so much sense that it would go down like that, right? And you have to balance like not overweighting a 90-game sample with it fitting your narrative. That's classic confirmation bias there. So I probably won't get him either. So for all this chatter, I think you're pretty fair. It's interesting though. I think you both made compelling cases, and you guys were on opposite ends of the spectrum there. So that is kind of the beauty of this game, is that two people can really make a spirited case for a player on each end of it. And I can look at both and go, yeah, I know that kind of tracks. If you did need some batting average, maybe you could pair Devers with this guy. You would have 2 first basemen, so you'd be cutting up your corner or your util spot pretty quickly. But that is the one thing that Yandy Diaz locks in yearly. 296, 330, 281, 300 the last 4 seasons, and got back to 20 bombs again last year, Joe, with 25, a career high, and not as much fanfare about it, right? Remember, we've been waiting for him to hit homers forever. He hit the 22 in 2023. Everyone thought he was a god. Here he comes. He came back down to earth in 2024, but then reemerged last year. Is Yandy Diaz a bankable 320 at this point, going into his age 34 season?
The 300, I think, is bankable. He could be hitting. It doesn't even matter where you put him. But I worry a little bit about the power output. He hit 18 of his 25 at home. And home is not going to be where it was last year. They're going to be back in Tropicana Field. So I wonder if he'll be more in the 17, 18 home run range. But if he's going to hit 300, drive in 80 or so runs, score 80 or so runs, chip in a couple steals, 3 steals last year, I wouldn't expect a ton in that department. But he's doing a lot for you. I think the 300 average is pretty secure. And if that comes with 18 home runs, I think you'll absolutely sign up for that where he's going. His ADP is 140-ish. I'll take that every day, even if it's in a corner spot. Even if I have a Vladdy or a Freeman or somebody, the fact that he's first base will not keep me off of him.
That is relatively late average for Yandy Diaz, too, at pick 135. Like, it's not a late pick, but you don't find bankable, high-quality average that deep in the draft these days. Justin, I like Yandy Diaz, too, even if I'm totally with Joe that those homers are going to go down moving back to the Trop. Maybe they don't. He hit 22 in 2023, but let's plan for 15, 16 with my big 300 average. Is Yandy Diaz someone you see as a great average oasis at pick 130-something?
Yeah, I think so. Like, he's one of those guys, when you look at just straight projections and the dollar values earned, like, he actually jumps out on the page as always kind of undervalued.
Yep.
It's what kind of build you have on your team. Like, can you give up that power? Because I do think he goes back to being a team's home run hitter in the Trop. He just doesn't pull the ball enough to take care, to like take advantage of like the short porch. Like, it just, I think he's gonna, it's the homers is going to be an issue for him, right? And so you really just are getting batting average and then some counting stats along with that. So like he's not a guy I target, but he's a guy, especially like in an auction, that I feel like always goes undervalued and can drop in drafts as kind of things go on. And I think too, like as draft season starts to go on, people will go, oh, I'm going to pass on Yandy Diaz, because once people start talking about the fact that they're going back to the Trop, I think that price will cool off quite a bit.
Good. Push it down, because honestly, I think he's a great target. And if he's even cheaper, I'm in. Yes, 16 homers per 600 plate appearances at the Trop. That's over 1,391. So yeah, put him down for 14, 15. I even lowered it a homer from the last time I said that. So be conservative with your projection on Yandy's homers, but that kind of average late, as somebody who tends to run into batting average issues, I think I'm going to see him as a pretty interesting oasis. Another boring guy too, right? No one's oohing and ahhing when you take Yandy Diaz. That's not a reason to take him any more than the oohs and ahs are a reason to take like Nick Kurtz, for example. I'm just saying that I think it underrates him, and I think, Justin, you're exactly right. As people get back in, because like we talk about it each week, the playoff losers, their fans who are also baseball fans, come back, and then by the time the Super Bowl comes, everyone's back. by that point, Yandy Diaz could be 25, 30 picks cheaper just because everyone starts writing articles about how these 5 players from the Rays are going to go down in value because they're going back to the Trop, and these 3 pitchers are going to go up. So I'm with you there. Let's go to another big topic that just became a big topic. If we had done this on Monday, we wouldn't have even talked about this, and it would have ruined our Vinnie Pasquantino talk because we didn't know that Kauffman Stadium was going to move in their fences 10 feet all around and change the height of them a little bit. So the long and short of it, the math's already been done. Shouts to Phil Dussault. This is where I got this from, about 20%. 20% difference plus 20% on the power. And that sounds like a lot. You know why? Because it is.
It is a lot.
But shouts to the Launch Angle Pod, which is where he did that with Rob DiPietro and Rob Silver, where they pointed out that, yes, it is a lot, but not for an individual. That's still only 3-4 homers, meaning don't be moving Vinnie P up rounds based off of this.
Well, Vinnie P is 6 homers. Like 20% of 32 is 6.
20% of 32 if you hit all 32 at home, brother. Have it.
Oh, that's a good point.
There you go. See? This is why he's going to be remarkably overrated. 3 homers matters.
So
that will move the dollar value. But
because I know that Joe is a big counting his own guy,
right. And now he's going to go way up because of this,
everybody,
right?
they're like this kind of shit overinflates, and so I'm not going to end up with Vinnie P. I'm not going to end up with counting his own.
He's 92 right now, Vinnie P.
Yeah.
Where do you think this goes to? Let's start with you, Justin. Ballpark it as we kind of move through the winter.
I think he gets to Freddie Freeman and Josh Naylor in the
70s.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Joe, what do you think on Vinnie P's ADP based off of this Park news?
I don't know if he gets all the way there, but I could see him getting into the later 70s, something like that, late 70s.
That's still a 20-pick jump.
I'd rather have Pasquantino than Josh Naylor. So I'm going to be part of the problem. I'm telling you, I am part of the problem, guys.
Hey, it's okay. It's if you still believe in the guy. All I'm saying is
I love the guy.
My only thing with telling that story from the Launch Angle guys was just put it in perspective. Do the math so that you don't move it up, because I think it was Rob Silver who was saying it. Well, you did the math wrong. You did it for all of his homers. But again, and 3 homers moves the needle. You run, you do your Tanner Bell sheet. When you put 3 homers on somebody, that's going to move them several dollars. That is a big deal.
Also, what does this cost people in batting average? Because Kauffman was...
They talked about that too, because when you move the fences in, there's fewer base hits. Yeah. So it's not all benefit either. Again, just go listen to the Launch Angle pod here. I don't want to regurgitate everything they said, but they really opened my eyes on this Vinnie P and Kansas City stuff to not overreact. Just cool your jets, folks. If they're moving up more than a round, tap out. I promise you it's worth it.
Yeah, fair. Totally fair. I love Vinnie.
I do too. And I love him as a player. As a dude, he seems cool as hell. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
And he also seems like a guy who really knows how to better himself as a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's not one of the guys who is anti-analytics or anything even close to it. He's always
him and Brent Rooker, two of my favorites.
They should have a podcast, those two.
I would love to listen to those two chat hitting. That'd be great.
Would be great. But I think I have to agree. You might have a little bit of a window now, and I think, you'll have a bit of a window when I think Yahoo opened up their leagues the other day. If you're playing on ESPN or whatever, I don't know if they're going to jump them up as much on those more casual sites. So I think that kind of goes in general. Whenever a player's going at a certain pick on the NFBC, you can usually knock it down a few spots if you're talking casual leagues. And I think there will be a window, especially if you're drafting right now for Vinnie P, where he hasn't jumped up yet, where the value is still there, I think.
And I think that is really interesting. And whenever we talk about stuff like this, I always make a shout to, in this league, Bogman and the Welsh. They do this every year. They do their comparisons at each outlet to give you an idea of where the default drafting is, because it can create these value discrepancies that you can take advantage of. Because the default ranking at ESPN has Vinnie P at 62, but the default ranking at, I'm making up numbers by the way, at Yahoo has him 86. And most people are at least going to be looking at that, if not using it. And that can really help you to know the discrepancies there. So I'll be interested to see how Vinny's ADP matriculates. If it shoots up here at NFBC, which is where we have the data for right now, which is why we're even more NFBC centric in the winter, versus the fall, versus the spring, when we start to see data from CBS, Yahoo, and ESPN. That will be interesting, and we will track that too with Vinny P and the rest of the Kansas City Royals. Let's go into tier 5 here. I think we can get through this. We've only got about 15 minutes, but we'll get there. Are you good with 15 minutes, Justin?
Yep.
All right, so let's get Tyler Soderstrom going here. We got Soderstrom, Rice, Ben Rice, Michael Busch, and Sal Perez, who's a catcher. We won't really get into him. We talked about him at catcher. You should always use him at catcher, but he does play first base. Soderstrom, I know he's big for you, Justin. This was another one. You were big on the Athletics last year. Your two young Athletics really cooked for you. They really tore the cover off the ball. He ended up going for 25 homers, 93 ribs, 8 steals, and a 276 average, and handled his left field defense transition pretty well. So he's outfield first base, Soderstrom is. He's inside pick 100 right now, right there at 99. What does he do for an encore after his breakout season, Tyler Soderstrom?
I mean, I just think he keeps doing what he's doing and maybe getting better. Like it's a really, really good profile. Hits the ball hard, 50% hard hit rate, 114 max exit velocity, 91.6 average exit velocity, 11% barrel. But like the big thing for him has been the gains in zone contact. And like it was 83% in his first season, 84% last year in 2024, and then last year 88.6%. Like that's almost elite for a power hitter. I could see a world in which Soderstrom hits like 35 home runs in Sacramento because of that part, but also puts up like a 290 or maybe 285 batting average, and the team is getting better around him. So like I think the counting categories could be better. I love Soderstrom. Soderstrom is a target for me this year. I know I said on a lot of these guys, like, I'll just wait till later. Soderstrom's one of
This is the guy you're waiting for.
This is one of the guys that I'm going to be waiting for. Now, I cannot make the argument like I should wait longer. Yeah, sure, absolutely. But Soderstrom having that outfield infield eligibility, I love that as well. So I'm not usually even putting him in first. I'm usually making him one of my outfielders and then grabbing another first baseman later.
I forgot Rice is also a catcher, so we're not really going to talk about him. Well, Joe, you can give some thoughts on Rice since you weren't on the catcher episode. But with Soderstrom, I'm not just going to reiterate everything Justin said because I agree. I'm big on him. I like him. I think pick 100 is fair. There is some downside, sure, as there is with anybody. You know, he's been a swing and miss guy in his past, but I love the way he's improved his strikeouts. We saw that with Shea Langoliers.
Strike rate.
That is such a huge improvement. Like, he has really turned himself, Tyler Soderstrom has, into the premier power hitter that we were dreaming on when he was a prospect. He was a catching prospect, but we always knew he'd move off catcher, and this transition has been fine. It has not robbed his fantasy value.
He's probably still catcher eligible in Yahoo because he's thought about it.
Kyle Schwarber probably still catcher eligible.
Definitely. You got to slot him at catcher. Those are your two catchers, Soderstrom and Schwarber, in a two-catcher Yahoo league. All right. So, Joe, you want to give some thoughts on Soderstrom? Is he somebody that you also buy into?
Just a quick thought, because I did say it on our live show in Arizona, but in April, Soderstrom had 9 homers, 20 runs, 24 RBI, all highs for the season. Every number in terms of the counting stats decreased month after month, and I think the average fantasy player might think Soderstrom peaked in April and then he kind of fell off a cliff, but it's not really the case, because if you look at the first and second half splits, first half OPS was 801 with a 120 WRC plus, second half 853 OPS with a 134 WRC plus, and he hit 300 in the second half. So despite the kind of lack of power you saw a little bit in the second half, he was actually a better overall hitter. He actually improved as a hitter despite that power output coming earlier in the season. So he's a big target of mine. He took him in my most recent DC. He was my 8th round pick. Absolutely love the versatility he brings you. I'm completely on board.
You are so right about that perception of Soderstrom too, because he did get out to such a flying start and then fell off. Like, admittedly, from April to May, went from 909 to 702 to 655 on his OPS totals. So people were like, "Oh, this guy, one hit wonder." And 827, 945, 850, 885 in the last 3 months with his OPS. Soderstrom's a dude, and he just got a resounding, endorsement here from the three of us. We're very big on him. Ben Rice, we'll just give the floor to you, Joe. We talked about him at catcher. You should always be using him at catcher. He does have first base eligibility. What does he do for an encore? Because he's kind of a weird listing here for first base. I understand why Mike has him there for first base, but he goes at pick 48. So ADP-wise on this list, he's way higher than the other guys we've talked about, but that's because of his catcher eligibility. Do you like Ben Rice for a big encore?
Oh, I do, and it says something if I'm touting a Yankee, because I hate Yankees. But Ben Rice is amazing. I have him 3rd in my catcher rankings. I have him 6th in my first base rankings. Every number, just, if you're a StatCast guy, if you like looking at StatCast pages, everything is like 99th percentile all the way to the red. There's a 133 WRC plus. It was a 15% barrel, 55% hard hit. All the numbers are so good. and you're getting a guy who won't have to function as the everyday catcher. You're going to get close, if not exceeding 600 plate appearances because of how often he'll be at first. So there's nothing not to like here. If Ben Rice finished as the number one catcher in 2026, I would not be surprised.
God, that would be awesome. I like Ben Rice a lot. Michael Busch, Justin, our guy. He did it, man. We've been big Michael. Oh, you're going to show some Ben Rice numbers there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just showing in case, obviously not suitable for work, but that is Ben Rice's
That is so sexy.
Unbelievable.
It is blood red, folks. He was unbelievable. You can bring up Busch right now, too, if you want, because our boy Michael Busch, we've been touting him for a while. We thought he had 30 homer power. I say for a while. It was only his second year, but we liked him as a prospect, too. That's why I say Justin and I have been talking about Busch for quite some time. He goes to Chicago, has a platform year in 2024, kind of a solid year that establishes himself, and then jumps up last year, 34-90 with 261 batting average. What does he do to follow up the breakout season now? Can he do more of the same, or should we maybe be fading the surge in price here? Because now he's pick 106, whereas we got him way cheaper last year. What do you think of our boy Michael Busch?
I know if you are watching on the YouTube, you may be going, well, wait, that looks exactly just like Ben Rice's Statcast page. But no, it does say Michael Busch. It's blood red as well. Like
it's quite nice.
I think this was the breakout, and I do buy it. Like the underlying numbers are great all around. Even the contact numbers are like right around league average or better. But I mean, the big thing was the massive jump in hard hit percentage, the massive jump in barrel percentage. The massive jump in average exit velocity while maintaining or making better his contact skill numbers too. I buy this. I think he is going to be. Now, he's terrible defensively. I don't think that costs him in Chicago, but
nah, I don't think so.
I think this is a guy that I would love to target over the Devers of the world or over the Alonsos of the world because the price is so much cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I think Busch makes sense to kind of do the easy average of the last 2 years, just because I do think he'll probably live in between those 775 and 866 OPS totals, and that would be like 28 homers, 78 ribbies, and 76 runs. Like that's kind of the loose average there, and I'm totally fine with that. And again, if you're not super confident in Devers' batting average, waiting 30 picks and taking Busch instead does make some sense. 35 picks even. How do you come out on Michael Busch with the Cubs? They're also getting better. We'll see what maybe they didn't get a lot better because I guess Bregman technically just replaces Tucker, Joe. But obviously they're a contending team, so he'll be at the top of a good lineup, a very unorthodox leadoff hitter. Do you like Michael Busch here in his third year?
Yeah, it's kind of an unorthodox lineup. We have like Nico Hoerner batting ninth. It's a little bit. I think the things will still kind of shake themselves out
until they trade him.
Yeah, I mean they're in such a hurry to trade a 4 to 5 win player. I don't really get it.
I agree.
But Michael Busch, the interesting thing, I remember a year ago we were having conversations about Kyle Tucker and how lefties are going to play at Wrigley, and
that was last year.
In 2024, Wrigley Field had a 90 park factor for left-handed hitters.
That's why I was so scared.
In 2025, Wrigley Field, as I updated here, had a 102 park factor for left-handed hitters. Now, as part of that, having Kyle Tucker and Michael Busch ascending there, does that factor into it?
No,
probably a little bit.
Park factors are like
completely independent.
Individual players shouldn't greatly impact them. I will also point out that at home, Tucker 747, 7 homers. I feel vindicated.
Yeah. I mean, I remember we felt like idiots in April because he got
absolutely. I was like, oh my God, why did we say that? Oh, that was so dumb. I should have just stuck with the guy I love. And that's why you don't make sweeping judgments in April, because as the season played out, he had a 747 at home, 923 on the road for Tucker. Something about Wrigley did seem to maybe eat him up. And 102 park factor, you said it was 90 the year before. So that is a 12-point jump is substantial for sure. But it's still not playing resoundingly well for lefties. Thankfully, Bregman's a righty, so it shouldn't hurt him. Busch is a lefty, though, and so I imagine that's part of why you brought that up. Does that give you pause with him, that Wrigley lefty factor, or is he good enough to just kind of overcome it?
The rest of the profile is so good. He's cut the strikeouts every year of his career. Can't really count 2023 much, but going from 28 down to 23 is huge while boosting your batting average without getting a BABIP benefit. His BABIP went down 30 points. 292 BABIP led to a 261 average. There's not a lot I can say against him. You know, he was chasing less. He makes really good zone contact. He doesn't swing and miss a ton for a power hitter. There's not a lot I can say against Michael Busch. He's a really good fallback option if you were taking care of other needs inside the top 100 picks and you're thinking, shit, I need to get a first baseman here. They're all running out. Michael Busch's max pick just over the last couple of weeks is 138. If you're getting a 9th round, 8th round Michael Busch, it's hard to say no to that.
Give me that all day. I'll absolutely take that. All right. And again, Sal Perez, catcher. Joe, do you have any thoughts on him? You can give those if you want.
Not a ton. I like Salvi fine. He should be in your catcher spot, obviously. I mean, if you're in a DC, you might mix things up. You might end up in the
right for a half week or a week at a time. Like, I'm not saying you can never ever play them there, but you're wasting a catcher if you're playing them anywhere but catcher.
He's just not terribly that great anymore. I don't think. I know the 30 home runs look really good.
No, Joe, don't you come on here and besmirch. I take the floor back from you. I mean, and when you've been wrong for that, because I talked about how I've been like that. And I've been like, I don't know. And I've been trying to get out before he craters because he doesn't have the best plate skills and that. And now I've given into it. I know at age 36 is not the best time to jump on a guy, but he just keeps punching the clock on high quality seasons. I have to disagree with you. He's very good, especially for a catcher. And he's so bankable volume wise. If
like the injuries have been weird too. It was like an eye infection and
and he still plays. He still figures out okay, his arm hurts, so I'm not going to be out. I'm just not going to play catcher. I'm going to DH or play first instead. He still played a $155 last year and a $158 the year before for Sal Perez.
He still plays, but he had a 95 WRC plus. He had a 284 on base rate. When I look at the runs,
I don't play in any WRC plus leagues, you nerd.
I was literally going to make that joke.
Okay, but when we're looking at the overall offensive output, I think that he has degraded as a hitter. Despite
where else are you going to get 54 runs out of catcher? Oh wait, that doesn't help my case. Shit. Well, what about 3,100?
4 years, the run totals are 48.
That's crazy, by the way. I just noticed that. Those are psychotic run totals for somebody who plays 9,000 plate appearances a year.
So you're getting home runs and you're getting RBI and that's it. You're getting no.
What do you mean that's it? It's a catcher.
But there's catchers the deepest it's ever been.
If you listen to the catcher preview, we do agree with that.
You can't say that you're a believer in Caglianone and then think that Sal Perez is still going to score 54 runs. Like the team is getting better around him. Like
Cag's going to drive him in 50 more times. Yeah. Boom, 100 runs.
Denying the team is getting better, but Jack is going 200 picks later, and it's such a.
No, I think he was just talking, not saying to take him over.
I'm not saying
you're talking about in terms
to lift the KC guys.
Yeah, I think he's going to score more runs this year because the lineup behind him is starting to improve.
Maybe he does. I don't hate him or anything, but
50-something is crazy, by the way. I did not realize he was that low.
It's awful. And the batting average,
but you look at catcher, like, what are you getting from runs scored from catcher behind Sal Perez? Like, that you're not...
More than 50, right?
You hope for more than
really,
50.
No.
Okay, maybe this is what catchers usually put up. That just seems low, dude. Nah. He was ninth. He was ninth in catcher runs.
Okay, but he's like the 8th or 9th catcher off the board. So what does it matter?
That's a really low run. No. Here's what I'm saying though. You still got to make those up, because even though he was
to make those up with Adley and Kirk too, right?
No, not if they're playing right. Not if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Like the top guys. Okay, put Raleigh off to the side. I know it's starting in catch preview. William Contreras,
Kirk had
89,
45 runs last year. So like this is like. He's the line of demarcation.
In 500 plate appearances, 150 fewer plate appearances.
Getting more plate appearances from. That's the thing. That's what makes Sal Perez so valuable is he gets all those freaking plate appearances.
But I don't get many more runs. With Kirk, I'm going to replace the plate appearances and actually get runs.
You're not replacing the plate appearances because you don't have a backup catcher.
How do you know? You don't know my team construction. If he has if he's only playing 130 games, I need a better catcher than that.
Kirk gives you batting average too, right? Where
he does,
Perez,
and 7 home runs.
But I don't even want to argue too much on that, Joe, because it's a fair critique on Kirk. So we don't need to argue their value. Like you still do need to replace the runs, but I'm saying 45 and 506 is not the same to me as him constantly putting up 650 some plate appearances and 50 runs for Sal Perez. That just jumped out. That just feels really low because he bats in the middle of the order too. A lot of these catchers bat lower. Kirk, not one of them, by the way. But I don't know that Again, I'm not off of Perez here, so don't indict me on this. I'm just saying that's a pretty rough catcher runs number.
He's expensive for what the overall profile is, I think.
It's not a rough, like, that is what catchers do. Like, it, I think you're comparing him to the guys going ahead of him.
He had 641 play. It's on a per plate appearance basis. That is crazy work.
I mean, Yandy Diaz had 56
in 100 fewer plate appearances. Will Smith, 64 in 436.
They're not going to get more plate appearances this year. Like, this is like that's what you're getting at the position.
I don't know.
In a one catcher league.
One catcher league is a different discussion.
In a one catcher league, yeah, we're not
different discussion. Different can of worms.
You're going with the upside of,
and we're not even in a catcher preview show here, so that's a whole nother can of worms.
So many catchers I like they're just such a deep position. Kyle Teel. I mean, his teammate Carter Jensen, 100 picks later.
That's not a good enough discount. No, and I want to get back on track to being against Joe slamming Sal because it ended up 2 against 1 there against Justin. I'm on the Sal side. I just think those runs are a little bit light. No, you just pointed out something that I was a little bit.
Drake Baldwin had 56 runs.
In 200 fewer plate appearances. Yes, you did. With Drake Baldwin, yes, you did. Bullshit. Bullshit. That was a terrible example. I knew I could trap you into using him as an example. I knew you would do that.
Like, Austin Wells had 51. Like, Ryan Jeffers had 47. And
stop using the low plate appearance, guys. I got plate appearances around.
More plate apperances. That's the argument.
But I did. Like, when Austin Wells wasn't playing, I can get more plate appearances. Because
you're keeping a third catcher on your bench?
Wasn't he missing a bunch of time with the? By the way, I was vindicated on the finger thing. Thank you for bringing up Austin Wells. I was vindicated on the finger thing. It was from Mining the News. Thank you to the reader who sent me that. I really appreciate that.
We talked about it on Sunday
because I was losing my mind thinking that I dreamt it. I did not. But anyway,
and I'm really disappointed in the listener that sent that to you. The point of this podcast is to gaslight Paul.
Is to make me go crazy. Yeah, I know.
Like,
Joe, I had read this like the day that Justin and I were doing this. And then I couldn't find it to save my life, and I was going crazy. And it was in a Mining the News that, and I think it was actually Jeff's analysis. So it wasn't from the team, but Jeff was like, oh, I didn't know he had this finger thing, permanently. I didn't know he had permanent finger damage.
No, I didn't see anywhere where it said permanent.
Again, I think it might have been
looking at the Mining the News.
Too many J names, by the way, because I almost called him Joe and Justin. Jeff.
Imagine our Sunday pod when it was.
It's got him. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I got to put Jeff on there, and then you should have had Joe on with you.
Yeah.
It should have been all 4 of you. So, okay.
Like,
I read several. Permanent. That's what I'm saying. I said it's his analysis, but that's where I got it from.
But there's nowhere in, and I should have asked him about this on Sunday. Maybe he's just assuming it's permanent because there is no cause and there was no procedure.
And there was no suggestion that it was gone, I guess.
Yeah. So
that's where I got that from, folks. Anyway, we've derailed here. You have to go 10 minutes ago. So we'll get going. You and I will do the rest of this tomorrow. And we will sing Jack's praises for you, Joe. Jack Kaggs. I know he's your guy.
Kaggs is in first base.
Well, why did he get ranked as first? Well, he might have 5 games. Remember, we do 5 game eligibility.
I hate you, by the way, for that still.
It's because of Autonew. And guess where
Autonew has their own rankers.
Guess where Autonew is hosted. No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, I got to go. Oh, actually, Justin has to go. I don't have to do shit. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Take it easy.